Greetings, Helevon here. The song that I'm going to analyze today is Her Ghost in the Fog by the British Gothic metal band Cradle of Filth. It features numerous elements of Gothic literature: the somber natural setting, the tragic love story ending in death and revenge, the witch as a female protagonist, and the sub-themes of spirituality and religion. All of these elements are widely treated in Cradle of Filth's music and perhaps most iconically embodied in this single off the album Median from the year 2000. The title itself is very gothic: ghost and fog, suggesting the gloomy landscape, mystery, and death. We'll see here a very poetic language, almost a pastiche of 19th century literature, full of metaphors that we are going to decode together. Let's listen.
Like a cool portrait, softly whisper the living of trees. And this copy starts with a shattered glass heart and the midnight bear trampling of dreams. But oh, no tears please. Fear and pain may accompany death, but it is desire that shepherds its certainty as we shall see.
The song begins with a prologue, which presents the story that follows as a cautionary tale warning against the dangers of desire. Such prologues that introduce the theme of this story were a popular element in poetry and drama from antiquity to the Romantic period, in which the Gothic genre took shape. Like in the prologue to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, we know that the story will end tragically in heartbreak, with a shattered glass heart, the song says, and in death accompanied by fear and pain. Astral bodies were seen throughout history to be associated with destiny, believed to rule human fate. In Romeo and Juliet, we had the stars, two star-crossed lovers, suggesting that they offended destiny in one way or another. And here we have the moon, cruelly observing the tragedy, like a god who oversees but never takes part to end human pain and suffering. Winds and the bidding of trees reinforce the idea of nature as a representative of divinity and sets the story in a forest. Note the pun Midnightmare, one of the numerous wordplays by Danny Filth, to suggest that the terrible deed is going to be happening at midnight.
She was divinity's creature that kissed in cold mirrors, a queen of snow, far beyond compare, lips attuned to symmetries under everywhere. Dark liquid eyes and the radiant nightmare. You don't want to come from my blood like that.
The female character is described here from the point of view of the speaker, her lover. In Gothic key, she has white skin, dark glimmering eyes, a sort of cold beauty, which is why she is likened to a goddess. She is the pearl of his life, something most precious. He idolizes her. Her beauty is divine. She is perfection personified, and he is her devoted worshipper. We learn here several very important things. Firstly, she is a witch, and we see her in the forest at night picking rue. Rue is an herb used in medical folklore and associated with healing and protective magic. Magical herbal practices involve specific times for gathering the plants and specific ways of preparing them. Picking it by moonlight is a part of the witching process. We learn that she was killed, cut free of this world, by a group of people who were wandering through the woods with lanterns chasing ghosts. So this suggests a sort of a witch hunt. Those who couldn't have her returns us to the dangers of desire which we were warned against in the prologue. She was killed by men who took revenge for not being able to have her. The tree stank of sunset and camphor gives a mystical and unsettling air to the forest. The sunset has just ended, it can still be felt around the forest, and the camphor suggests a bitter and intoxicating or sleep-inducing smell. The men are mesmerized by her, and the lanterns are a stand-in for their evil gaze and desires. They chase her so she can only run or die. Their deed is covered in mist, so we don't see it happening, but we can see the aftermath. Her ghost is wandering through the woods in the place of her death after the deed takes place. We are revealed that the murderers are priests, not only Christians, but men in the service of God and the church. And the church will be a setting later on in the song. We can assume thus that this was a sort of a punishment for her being a witch. The witch who is killed and often raped by Christian men is a motif that features prominently in Cradle of Filth songs. Following the Gothic trope of the woman as a victim or as a damsel in distress, as it used to appear in medieval literature, which was revived in its tropes during Romanticism. But here in Cradle of Filth, it is paired with an inversion of the traditional roles of witch meaning bad and Christian meaning good. Here, the witch is a powerful woman who holds a high but marginal position in the community, and she is persecuted for her power. And the so-called men of God are acting against the good that their religion is supposed to represent. A bitter irony. We are here shown the aftermath of the murder. A speaker, her lover, we see here the poetic eye intervening, comes into the woods in the morning and finds her dead body. Her dress is tattered, she is naked, only covered in her dark hair and in little stars of frost. The setter's stare again reinforces the idea of nature as a cruelly detached, godlike observer. The lover remembers how they swore vows to each other to love each other forever, so he challenges destiny for standing between them. He prays and screams out to the gods and cries. He is here saying goodbye, he is embracing her and kissing her, and as he stands on the ground like that, he sees something shiny in the earth, trampled by footsteps. It is the key to the church bell tower. So it looks like his prayers are answered in one way or another. Now he knows who killed his lover because it is somebody who had access into the church bell tower, and he now has the means, the key to exact revenge. Let's see what he does. We are confirmed here that she truly was a witch, and she is now regretted and mourned in secret by some of the villagers because they needed her and her skills. But her lover does not care about mourning and about their sorrow. He is haunted with the obsession for revenge, and all he wants is to find the killers among the villagers.
A queen of snow, far beyond cruel lips and true to symmetry, such a reverie well. Travesty, eyes and a baby a nightmare. She was perfectly possessed of a milky white skin. My porcelain, even gracefully jealous.
Her beauty is described here again by use of very universal feminine symbols. Trappistine points to a Catholic monastic order, the Trappistines being a type of Cistercian nuns and monks, perhaps suggesting the purity in her eyes, which stands in contrast with the darkness suggested in the wordplay Arabian Nightmare, also pointing to the fascination of European Romanticism with the Middle East. Angel of Sin again points to the duality of her character, the good and the apparent evil in her profession. Ursuli represents female spirits, deities of love and compassion in religions of the African diaspora, and Yin invokes a feminine deity again associated with compassion in East Asian tradition. So she is compared here with female spiritual figures from all over the This time nature is on her side. The ghost leads her lover's path as he goes to the chapel. He locks the 5 men inside and sets it on fire with his torch, his lantern. So the suffering lover becomes an avenger. He is here an enforcer of divine law. He doesn't judge the murderers. He only kills them and sends them to meet their maker, who is the one who is going to judge her. Cradle of Filth has often been referred to as satanic because a lot of their lyrics speak against Christianity, and here we even see the protagonist burning down a church. But the scenarios that Dani Filth creates in their lyrics often invert the notions of good and evil. Here the church is good, the villagers are ignorant, the men of God are violent in their fear, and the lover acts as a sort of a hand of God when he does this act of vigilantism. Remember that we said that this is a cautionary tale as stated in the prologue. Traditionally, in cautionary tales, the wrongdoers meet an unpleasant fate described in detail. So the moral of this song is that evil done in the name of good is still evil and will be punished. The song ends with the lover letting the murderers burn and going away to meet his love. The two lovers embrace in the fog, reunited beyond death. Let's listen to the end. This was my analysis, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for another analysis of rock or metal lyrics.